Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're diving into a topic that is just so important, the foundations of our mental health. And we're going to start right at the beginning. I mean, the very beginning, in early childhood, where those first building blocks for a healthy life are laid. So let's just jump right in with a question that seems pretty simple on the surface, but it really gets to the core of what we're talking about. We think about mental health with adult words like anxiety or depression or therapy, but what does it even mean for a baby or a toddler? What does that look like? Well, the answer, according to all the science, is that it starts the moment we are born. It's not something that just shows up when we're teenagers. The capacity for mental wellness is something that's actively built, day by day, interaction by interaction, right from those very first years of life. So, what are we really talking about here? It's definitely not about a baby doing complex self-reflection. No. The source material, pulling from the experts at 0 to 3, says it's all about a child's growing ability to do 3 basic things. First, to feel, manage, and show their emotions. Second, to connect with other people and form secure relationships. And third, to be able to explore the world around them and learn. So here's the main takeaway from this first part. When we say mental health in the early years, what we're really talking about is healthy social and emotional development. The two are basically the same thing. And this is the bedrock, right? It's the foundation for everything else, for curiosity, for confidence, for the ability to learn. But here's the thing. These foundational years are also a time when kids are incredibly vulnerable. So what happens when that bedrock, that foundation gets shaken up by some real adversity? Well, the research points to 2 major challenges that can really disrupt that healthy development. First, you have diagnosable mental health issues, things like anxiety or behavior disorders. And the second one, which we're going to focus on now, is the incredibly profound and long-lasting effect of trauma. A huge piece of this puzzle is a category of events called adverse childhood experiences, or ACEs for short. And we're not just talking about having a bad day here. These are deeply stressful, potentially traumatic events that just cut right to the core of a child's sense of safety, their stability, and their ability to connect with others. Now, when a child is exposed to these ACs, especially without a supportive adult to help them through it, it can trigger something called toxic stress. And listen, this isn't just about feeling stressed out. This is a biological response. The body's alarm system gets stuck in the on position for so long that it actually starts to cause physical damage to the brain, to the immune system, the whole shebang. And just look at this chart. It really lays out how widespread the damage can be. This is what's so wild. It isn't just about feeling sad or scared. Trauma can physically change a child's brain. It can impact their ability to learn in school. It can damage their physical health down the road. And it can make it so hard to form the healthy relationships they need. It literally touches everything. Okay, I know this can all sound incredibly heavy, and it is. But here's the hopeful part. The science doesn't just stop at the problem. It also points us directly to a powerful solution. And that solution is resilience. So let's talk about what that really means. And this quote right here, wow, it says it all. This is maybe the single most important finding in all of this research. More than anything else, more than any program, more than any therapy, the most powerful thing that can protect a child from the long-term effects of trauma is a stable, supportive relationship with at least one caring adult. And this leads us to a really important way of thinking about resilience. It's not some magical trait that some kids are just born with and others aren't. Not at all. The source material defines it as a dynamic process. It's a capacity to adapt and bounce back that is actively built through the back and forth between a child and their world, especially their relationships. You can almost think of it like a balance scale or a seesaw. On one side, you have all these risk factors that can weigh a child down. But on the other side, you have protective factors that can lift them up. And as you can see, right at the top of that list are those supportive relationships and a sense of safety. They can literally tip the scales toward a healthy future. So, if relationships are really the secret sauce here, how do we make that happen on a bigger scale? How do we build systems, in our schools, in our doctor's offices, in our communities, that actually understand and respond to the reality of trauma? Well, the answer lies in this framework called trauma-informed care. And at its heart, it's just this profound shift in perspective. It means moving away from asking, what's wrong with you? And instead starting by asking, what happened to you and how can we help? It starts to see a child's behavior not as a flaw, but maybe as an adaptation, a way they learn to survive. And this whole approach is built on 4 key pillars. You can call them the 4 R's. First, you have to realize just how common trauma really is. Then, you learn to recognize the signs. The third step is absolutely crucial. You have to respond by actually changing how you do things. And finally, and this is so important, you have to actively resist re-traumatizing kids by making sure their environments feel safe. Which brings us right to the end, to the final and honestly the most vital takeaway from all of this. It's a point that brings us right back to the simple, powerful idea of human connection. So, the bottom line is this. Even though adversity and trauma can feel huge and overwhelming, the solution is actually deeply personal and accessible to every single one of us. Science is just confirming what our hearts kinda already knew, that consistent, caring relationships are the antidote. They heal, they protect, and they build the foundation for a healthy life. And that leaves us with one final question to think about. This isn't about being the perfect parent or the perfect teacher or the perfect neighbor. It's about recognizing that every small, responsive interaction, a kind word, a moment of patience, just really listening, can be a building block of resilience. So what is one way you can be that person for a child in your life today?